What if Anakin became the chosen one of the dark side? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The twin sons of Tatooine beat down mercilessly on the sandy streets of Mos Espa, their heat turning the air into shimmering waves that distorted the distant moisture vaporators. In a small hovel on the edge of the slave quarters, tucked between a junk dealer's shop and an abandoned warehouse, 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker bolts upright in his bed. His thin sheets are soaked with sweat, clinging to his small frame as he gasps for air. The room is stifling, the heat from the day still radiating from the walls, even though both suns have set hours ago. But it's not the heat that woke him. It's the dream. The nightmare. Except this time, it wasn't the usual vision of his mother suffering, of her crying out for him while he's too far away to help. This was something entirely different, something that both terrified and exhilarated him in ways he doesn't understand. In the dream, he stood atop a mountain of bodies, their faces twisted in fear and pain. Lightning crackled from his fingertips, arcing across a blood-red sky. In the distance, entire star systems burned, their planets crumbling into cosmic dust, and through it all, he felt powerful, not just strong, but invincible. Like nothing in the entire galaxy could touch him, could hurt him, could take away the people he loved. The worst part, the part that makes his stomach churn with guilt even now, is that he didn't want the dream to end. For those few moments, he wasn't a slave. He wasn't property. He was free. More than free. He was a god. His mother, Shmi, rushes into the small room they share, her worn face creased with concern. She's aged beyond her years. The harsh Tatooine suns and the weight of slavery etching lines into her skin. But her eyes are still kind, still full of the love that has kept Anakin grounded through the worst days of their servitude. Another nightmare. Ani? She sits on the edge of his bed, her calloused hand brushing the sweat-soaked hair from his forehead. Do you want to talk about it? Anakin shakes his head, unable to meet her eyes. How can he tell her what he saw? How can he explain that part of him, some dark corner of his soul, reveled in the destruction? Instead, he simply wraps his arms around her, seeking the comfort he's always found in her embrace. It's okay, Mom. I'm fine. Just a bad dream. But Shmi knows her son. She can see the shadows in his eyes, the weight of something he's not sharing. She's noticed it more and more lately. These dark moods that come over him. Sometimes she catches him staring at nothing, his young face twisted with an anger that no child should feel. Other times, she watches him work on his projects, his droids and pod racers, and she sees an intensity that borders on obsession, as if he's trying to build his way out of their situation through sheer force of will. She holds him close, whispering soothing words. But in her heart, she's afraid. Afraid of what her son might become if they don't escape this life soon. Afraid of the darkness she sometimes glimpses in him, like a storm gathering on the horizon. The days pass in their usual monotonous rhythm. Anakin works in Watto's junk shop, sorting through broken droid parts and salvaged starship components. The Toydarian junk dealer hovers above him constantly, berating him in Huttese, complaining about how slow he works, how clumsy he is. Mind tricks don't work on me, only money, Watto often says, laughing at his own joke. But Anakin barely hears it anymore. He's learned to retreat into his own mind, to imagine a life beyond this desert prison. During his breaks, he works on his secret project, A protocol droid he's building from scratch, piece by piece, scavenged part by scavenged part. He calls it C-3PO, and it's meant to help his mother with her chores. But it's more than that. It's proof that he can create something, that he has value beyond being someone's property. When he works on the droid, connecting circuits and programming behavior protocols, he feels that same surge of power from his dreams. The knowledge flows into his mind almost instinctively, as if he's always known how to do this, as if the Force itself is guiding his hands. Then comes the day that changes everything. Qui-Gon Jinn, a tall man with long hair and a serene expression, enters Watto's shop alongside a Gungan and an astromech droid. Anakin watches them from his workbench, something stirring in his chest. The man has a presence about him, something that makes Anakin's skin tingle. When their eyes meet, Qui-Gon pauses, and Anakin sees recognition flash across the stranger's face. Not recognition of Anakin specifically, but recognition of what he is, what he might be. The encounter leads to the pod race, and Anakin finds himself piloting his custom-built racer through the treacherous Boonta Eve course. The speed, the danger, the way the Force seems to slow down time around him, allowing him to anticipate every turn, every obstacle. It's intoxicating when Sebulba tries to sabotage him, when the Dug's racer attempts to force him into a canyon wall. Anakin feels rage bubble up inside him. For a moment, just a split second, he considers using the Force not just to guide his pod, but to crush Sebulba's engines, to send him spiraling into a fiery crash. But he doesn't. He wins the race through skill and determination. And when he crosses the finish line, the crowd's roar washes over him. For the first time in his life, people are cheering for him, not for his owner, not for anyone else, for him. And it feels almost as good as the power in his dreams. Later, as Qui-Gon takes a sample of his blood, Anakin watches the Jedi's face carefully. He sees the shock, quickly masked, when the results come back. The Jedi's hands tremble slightly as he checks the readings a second time, then a third. Over 20,000 midichlorians. The number is astronomical, beyond anything in the existing records. But there's something else. Something that makes Qui-Gon's brow furrow with concern. When the Jedi reaches out with the Force to touch Anakin's presence, to sense the depths of his connection, he encounters two distinct echoes. One is bright and warm, like standing in sunlight, filled with potential for compassion and heroism. The other is cold and vast, like staring into an abyss that seems to have no bottom. And most disturbing of all, when Qui-Gon's consciousness brushes against that darkness, it stares back as if it's aware, as if it's been waiting. Qui-Gon withdraws quickly, his face carefully neutral. But Anakin notices. He notices everything. That night, as they prepare to leave Tatooine, Anakin says goodbye to his mother. The pain of leaving her is almost unbearable, but she makes him promise to be strong, to train hard, to become the person she knows he can be. "I'll come back for you, Mom. I promise. I'll become powerful enough that no one can ever hurt us again." The journey to Coruscant takes several days, and during that time, Qui-Gon begins Anakin's informal education in the Force. The boy is a remarkably quick study, grasping concepts that take most Padawans months to understand. But Qui-Gon also notices something troubling. When Anakin practices moving objects with the Force, when he concentrates on lifting stones or sliding across the floor, there's an undercurrent of aggression in his technique. He doesn't ask the Force to move things. He commands it. He dominates it. Qui-Gon tries to correct this, to teach Anakin that the Force is not a tool to be wielded but a partner to be worked with. But he can see the confusion in the boy's eyes, the fundamental disconnect. To Anakin, who has spent his entire life powerless, the Force represents the ultimate power. Why would he ask when he could demand? Why would he partner when he could control? On Coruscant, the gleaming capital of the Republic, Anakin experiences wonder for the first time in his life. The endless cityscape, the towering buildings that seem to scrape the very stars, the streams of traffic filling the sky in carefully organized chaos. It's so different from Tatooine, from the endless sand and the simple brutality of slavery. Here, anything seems possible. Here, he could become something great. The Jedi Temple rises above the city like a crown, its 5 spires reaching toward the heavens. As Anakin walks through its halls, he feels the weight of history pressing down on him. Thousands of Jedi have walked these corridors over millennia, each one dedicated to peace and justice. The light side of the Force permeates every stone, every surface. It should feel welcoming, comforting, but to Anakin, it feels restrictive, like a cage made of light. The council chambers are circular, with 12 seats arranged in a ring. The most powerful Jedi in the galaxy sit here, and now they all focus their attention on one small boy from a desert planet. Anakin stands in the center, trying not to fidget under their scrutiny. He can feel them probing at his mind, testing his defenses, examining his connection to the Force. It's invasive, uncomfortable, and it makes him angry. But he pushes the anger down, remembering his mother's words about being strong. Master Yoda, ancient and wizened, his ears drooping with the weight of centuries, closes his eyes and reaches deep into the Force. He seeks Anakin's future, trying to glimpse what path this boy might walk. What he sees makes his eyes snap open in alarm. 2 futures, equally possible, equally powerful. In one, Anakin stands as a beacon of hope, a hero who saves countless lives and brings true balance to the Force. In the other, he stands atop a throne of bones, his eyes burning yellow with Sith fire, while the galaxy burns around him. But there's something else, something that Yoda hasn't seen in all his 900 years. The 2 futures are not separate paths. They are intertwined, spiraling around each other like a double helix. As if Anakin might walk both paths simultaneously, or switch between them, or somehow embody both at once. It's unprecedented. It's impossible. It's terrifying. Master Windu shifts in his seat, his hands gripping the armrests tightly. His connection to the Force has always allowed him to sense the darkness in others, to see the shadows that lurk in even the most righteous hearts. It's what makes him such an effective Jedi, his ability to recognize and confront darkness wherever it appears. And in this boy, he sees shadows so deep They seem to have no bottom. Strong is the Force. In this one, Yoda finally says, his voice grave. Stronger than any we have seen, but clouded. His future is, two paths before him lie. Qui-Gon steps forward, his voice passionate and certain. Masters, I believe he is the chosen one from the prophecy, the one who will bring balance to the Force. He was conceived by the midi-chlorians themselves. His mother told me there was no father. Surely this is a sign. But Mace Windu shakes his head, rising from his seat. His voice is hard, unyielding. Balance, perhaps. But which kind of balance? Master Yoda, would you share what you have discovered? The ancient Jedi Master rises slowly, using his Gaimer stick for support. He walks to the center of the room, his clawed feet clicking softly on the polished floor. He pauses beside Anakin, looking up at the boy with eyes that have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Ancient texts there are. In our deepest archives, he begins. Speak they do of not one prophecy, but two. The first, know we well, a chosen one, to destroy the Sith and bring balance through the light. A hero to save the galaxy from darkness. The chamber falls silent. Even Qui-Gon looks surprised. But another prophecy there is. Yoda continues, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. Buried and forgotten, hidden in vaults sealed for thousands of years. A dark chosen one, who brings balance not through destruction of evil, but through dominance. Through power absolute, through becoming the very darkness that consumes the galaxy. So total that no other darkness can exist beside it. The council members exchange alarmed glances. Ki-Adi-Mundi leans forward, his tall conical head tilting thoughtfully. Are you suggesting this boy could fulfill either prophecy? That he is both chosen ones simultaneously? Possible. It is, Yoda confirms. In the boy, both prophecies resonate. A vergence of the Force, unlike any other. Train him we could, in the ways of the light. Or fall to darkness he might, and fulfill the other path. The choice, ultimately his will be. Plo Koon speaks up, his voice modulated through his mask. If what you say is true, then the danger is enormous. But so is the potential for good. Can we afford not to train him? If we turn him away, who knows what might happen? He could fall into the hands of the Sith. Mace Windu's voice cuts through the debate like a blade. And if we train him and fail, if despite our best efforts, he falls to the darkness anyway, then we will have trained the most powerful Sith Lord the galaxy has ever seen. We will have created our own destruction. Qui-Gon's face reddens with anger. So we should abandon him? Leave a child to his fate because we're afraid of what he might become? That is not the Jedi way. We are the guardians of peace and justice. We do not turn away those who need us because they might be dangerous. The debate rages for hours. Some council members argue for training Anakin under the strictest supervision. Others advocate for sending him away, perhaps to one of the agricultural worlds where he can live a peaceful life far from the currents of galactic power. A few even suggest more extreme measures, though these suggestions are quickly shouted down. Finally, they reach a compromise. Anakin will be trained, but under conditions never before imposed on a Padawan. He will be monitored constantly. His connection to the Force will be carefully guided and shaped. He will not be given the same freedoms as other students. Every mission, every assignment Every moment of his life will be carefully controlled to ensure he walks the path of light. When Anakin is finally called back into the chamber to hear their decision, he can sense the tension in the air. The weight of their judgment presses down on him like a physical force. "You will be trained," Yoda tells him. "But understand you must, that great responsibility comes with great power. Watch you closely, we will. Prove yourself you must, every day, in every action." Anakin should feel relieved. He should feel grateful. Instead, all he feels is resentment. They're going to treat him like a criminal, like he's already failed, like he's guilty of crimes he hasn't even committed yet. He nods slowly, keeping his face carefully neutral. "Thank you, Masters. I won't let you down." But as he leaves the council chambers with Qui-Gon, the seed of bitterness has been planted. They fear him. They will always fear him, no matter what he does, no matter how hard he tries. He will never be truly accepted. He'll always be the outsider, the potential Dark Lord. They're too afraid to reject, but too suspicious to embrace. Watching from the shadows of the Senate building, concealed by the Force and by decades of practice, Darth Sidious smiles beneath his hood. He had sensed the boy's arrival on Coruscant, felt the massive disturbance in the Force like a tidal wave crashing through the currents of fate. Now, hearing whispers of the Council's concerns through his various spies embedded throughout the temple, his plans begin to shift and evolve. Two chosen ones in one vessel, he muses. How delightfully unprecedented. How wonderfully unstable. All I need to do is wait and watch, and when the moment is right, tip the scales ever so slightly. This boy will be mine. He just doesn't know it yet. The years of training pass slowly for Anakin. He is assigned to Obi-Wan Kenobi after Qui-Gon's death on Naboo, a loss that cuts deep into Anakin's heart. The Jedi Master who believed in him, who saw potential rather than danger, is gone. Now he's left with Obi-Wan, a young knight who clearly has reservations about training him. Obi-Wan does his best, and to his credit, he never treats Anakin with overt hostility. But Anakin can sense the doubt, the constant vigilance. His new master never fully relaxes around him, never completely trusts him. And that distance, that invisible wall between them, feeds Anakin's resentment like oxygen feeds a flame. The restrictions the Council placed on him become more apparent as he grows older. While other Padawans are sent on diplomatic missions, allowed to explore different aspects of the Force, given opportunities to prove themselves, Anakin is kept on a tight leash. His assignments are carefully chosen, limited to situations where the outcome is predictable and the danger minimal. When he suggests alternative approaches to problems, he's told to follow protocol. When he questions the reasoning behind certain decisions, he's reminded that he's still a student, not a master. When other Padawans his age begin to take their trials and become knights, Anakin is told he's not ready yet. He needs more time, more supervision, more proof that he can be trusted. But despite the restrictions, perhaps because of them, Anakin excels. His connection to the Force grows stronger every day. He masters techniques in weeks that take others years to learn. His lightsaber skills develop at an astonishing rate. His natural talent combined with hours of obsessive practice. He's not just good, he's exceptional, and everyone knows it. The other Padawans watch him with a mixture of awe and envy. Some admire his abilities and try to befriend him. Others resent him, spreading rumors that he's dangerous, that the council should never have allowed him to train. Anakin finds himself isolated, caught between those who fear him and those who worship him. He has acquaintances, but few real friends. The one bright spot in his life is Padme Amidala, now a senator representing Naboo. She occasionally visits the temple on official business. Anakin sees her whenever he can, finding excuses to be in the Senate district to cross paths with her. Their friendship develops slowly over the years, built on shared experiences and genuine affection. She sees him not as a potential threat or a prophesied savior, but simply as Anakin, the boy who won a pod race to help her, the young man who makes her laugh with his stories and challenges her with his questions. She becomes his anchor, the one person who treats him as normal. But even this relationship is complicated by the Jedi Code. Attachment is forbidden. Love, in any romantic sense, is a path to the dark side. Obi-Wan notices the way Anakin looks at Padme, the way his face lights up when she's mentioned. He delivers gentle warnings, reminders of the code, explanations of why the Jedi maintain these restrictions. But to Anakin, it's just another cage. Another rule designed to keep him from being happy, from being whole. Chancellor Palpatine, now Supreme Chancellor of the Republic, takes a special interest in Anakin's development. He requests the young Padawan's presence at various functions, citing his heroism on Naboo as making him a symbol of Republic unity. The Council reluctantly agrees, seeing no harm in allowing Anakin to attend a few public events. But these meetings become more frequent and the conversations more personal. Palpatine is everything the Jedi Council is not. He's warm, encouraging, genuinely interested in Anakin's thoughts and feelings. He doesn't lecture or restrict. He listens. He validates. He understands. When Anakin complains about the Council's treatment of him, Palpatine nods sympathetically. When Anakin expresses frustration with the Jedi Code, Palpatine offers philosophical perspectives that make the restrictions seem arbitrary and outdated. He never overtly criticizes the Jedi, never plants ideas that are too obvious. He simply asks questions, makes observations, plants seeds. "My boy, you have such potential," Palpatine says during one of their private meetings. "It pains me to see it constrained by fear and tradition. The galaxy needs heroes like you, unconstrained by outdated dogma." But Anakin remains loyal to the Jedi, at least outwardly. He trains hard, follows orders, tries to prove himself worthy of their trust. Deep inside, though, the darkness that Yoda sensed continues to grow. Fed by resentment, nurtured by isolation, strengthened by the constant reminder that he will never truly belong. Then comes the Clone Wars. The galaxy erupts in conflict as the separatist movement, led by the charismatic Count Dooku, challenges the Republic's authority. Thousands of systems secede, and the Jedi Order finds itself thrust into a role it was never meant to play. They become generals, leading clone armies into battle. And in this crucible of war, Anakin finally finds his purpose. On the battlefield, the restrictions don't matter. Results do. And Anakin delivers results like no one else. His tactical mind sees solutions others miss. His connection to the Force allows him to anticipate enemy movements before they happen. His piloting skills make him a legend among the clone troopers. They call him the hero with no fear. And they follow him not because they're programmed to, but because they believe in him. His first major victory comes at the Battle of Christophsis. The Republic forces are pinned down, surrounded by separatist battle droids. The situation is desperate, and conventional tactics have failed. Obi-Wan wants to wait for reinforcements, to play it safe. But Anakin sees an opportunity. A single thermal exhaust port on the separatist flagship, poorly shielded and vulnerable. "Get me a ship," he tells Obi-Wan. "I can make the shot." "It's too dangerous," Obi-Wan replies. "You'd have to fly through their entire defensive perimeter. You'd never make it. Then I guess I'll have to be fast." Against orders, Anakin takes a starfighter and plunges into the maelstrom of enemy fire. The clone pilots watch in amazement as he weaves through impossible patterns, dodging and spinning, his connection to the Force guiding every movement. He makes the shot, the flagship explodes, and the battle is won. He should be commended. Instead, he's reprimanded for disobeying orders and taking unnecessary risks. His second major victory is at Kamino, defending the cloning facilities from a separatist assault. His third is at Felucia, where he leads a daring rescue of captured Republic officers. His fourth is at Onderon, where he helps train local resistance fighters to overthrow a separatist occupation. Each victory adds to his legend. The Senate praises him. The clone troopers adore him. The civilian population sees him as a hero, but the Jedi Council sees only a Padawan who refuses to follow protocol, who relies too heavily on aggression and takes too many risks. After 2 years of war, of countless victories and saved lives, Obi-Wan finally recommends Anakin for the trials. He's proven himself 100 times over. He's ready to become a knight. But the council hesitates. They examine his record, note his accomplishments, but also catalogue every instance of disobedience, every moment of anger, every hint of darkness. Master Windu, in particular, is adamant. His methods achieve results, I grant you, but they toe the line of the dark side. He relies too much on aggression, on passion. Until he learns true restraint, until we're certain he can be trusted, he must remain a Padawan. Obi-Wan argues, but he's only one voice against many, and deep down, even he has doubts. He sensed Anakin's anger growing, the resentment building like pressure behind a dam. So the council denies Anakin his trials, tells him he needs more time, more seasoning, more proof. When Anakin learns of their decision, something inside him breaks. Not visibly, not dramatically, but the last thread of faith he had in the Jedi Order snaps. They will never accept him, no matter what he does, no matter how many lives he saves, no matter how many battles he wins. It will never be enough. He's the prophesied chosen one, the most naturally gifted Force user in 1,000 years. And they treat him like a child, like a threat, like a mistake they're too cowardly to admit. That night, he stands alone on one of the temple's meditation balconies, looking out over the endless cityscape of Coruscant. The anger simmers inside him, hot and corrosive. He could leave, just walk away from the Jedi Order, from their rules and their fear and their cage. But where would he go? What would he do? And more importantly, How could he protect the people he loves without the resources and authority the Jedi provide? No, he decides. He'll stay. He'll continue to play their game, follow their rules, wear their robes. But he'll stop trying to earn their approval. He'll stop caring what they think. From now on, he'll do what he knows is right, regardless of their opinions. If they want to see him as dangerous, then he'll show them what dangerous really means. The mission to Mortis comes shortly after this turning point, and it couldn't be more perfectly timed. The Council, hoping that exposure to the purest manifestations of the Force will help Anakin find balance and perspective, sends him alongside Obi-Wan and Ahsoka Tano, a young Togruta Padawan who has recently been assigned to him. The realm of Mortis exists outside normal space, a Force nexus of incredible power where the very laws of physics seem negotiable. Here, three beings of immense power reside: the Father, who represents balance, the Daughter, who embodies the light side, and the Son, who incarnates the dark side. They are not quite gods, but they're close, echoes of the Force, given form and consciousness. When Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka arrive, they find themselves separated almost immediately. The realm seems to have its own agenda, its own tests to administer. Anakin finds himself alone in a vast, echoing chamber, the walls covered in ancient murals depicting the history of the Force. He sees the rise and fall of the Sith, the founding of the Jedi Order, wars that span millennia. And at the center of it all, two figures, one bathed in light, one shrouded in shadow, both bearing his face. The Son appears from the darkness, his presence radiating malevolence and power. But when he speaks, his voice is not cruel. It's knowing, understanding, almost kind. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One. Do you know what that truly means? Anakin's hand goes to his lightsaber, but he doesn't ignite it. Not yet. I know what the Jedi think it means. Bringing balance to the Force by destroying the Sith. The Son laughs, the sound echoing off the ancient walls. The Jedi, always so certain of their righteousness. But let me show you something, young Skywalker. Let me show you what the Force wants you to see. He raises his hand, and the chamber dissolves around them. Suddenly, Anakin is standing in the middle of a vision so vivid, it might as well be real. He sees himself, but older, scarred by war and hardship. He's on Tatooine, arriving not weeks or months after leaving, but years. Too late. He finds his mother in a Tusken Raider camp, beaten and tortured, drawing her last breaths. He holds her as she dies, unable to save her, because he wasn't strong enough, wasn't fast enough, wasn't there. The vision shifts. Now he sees Padme, her face pale and drawn, dying in childbirth. Medically, there's no reason for it. She's simply lost the will to live. He reaches for her, tries to channel the Force to heal her. But his Jedi training has taught him only to let go, to accept loss as natural. He has the power to save her flowing through his veins, but not the knowledge to use it. She dies, and twins are taken from him by Obi-Wan, hidden away because the Jedi don't trust him to raise his own children. The vision shifts again. Now he sees a galaxy in flames. The Clone Wars drag on for decades, neither side able to achieve victory. Trillions die in the crossfire. Planets are reduced to ash. Entire species go extinct. And through it all, the Jedi Council debates and discusses and pontificates, taking the moral high ground while the galaxy burns around them. But then, the vision changes. Anakin sees another path, another possibility. He sees himself not constrained by Jedi dogma, not bound by their fear. He sees himself arriving on Tatooine in time to save his mother, using power the Jedi would call dark, but which is simply the full spectrum of the Force. He sees himself mastering techniques that can prevent death, healing Padmé when she needs him most. He sees the Clone Wars ending not after decades of grinding attrition, but swiftly and decisively through the application of overwhelming power. He sees peace, not the fragile, temporary peace of diplomacy and compromise, but real, lasting peace, enforced by strength that no one dares challenge. He sees himself bringing order to a chaotic galaxy, protecting those who cannot protect themselves, ensuring that suffering ends not through prayer, but through power. And most importantly, he sees himself finally free, not bound by chains of slavery or cages of doctrine, free to love, to feel, to act, to be everything he was meant to be, the chosen one, not of the light, not of the dark, but of power itself. When the vision fades, Anakin finds himself on his knees, breathing hard. The sun stands before him, patient and calm. You see it now, don't you? The Jedi hold you back because they fear what you could become. But that power is your birthright. The dark side is not evil, young Skywalker. It simply is, just as the light simply is. True balance comes not from denying half of what you are, but from embracing all of it. But won't using the dark side corrupt me? Turn me into a monster? The sun shakes his head. Power does not corrupt. It reveals. The dark side will not change who you are. It will simply remove the shackles that prevent you from being who you truly are. The question you must ask yourself is not whether you should use this power, but whether you're strong enough to wield it without losing yourself. Most are not. Most who touch the dark side become slaves to it, letting their passions rule them completely. But you, chosen one, you have the potential to be different, to master both light and dark, wielding each as the situation demands. That is true balance. That is what the Force wants from you. Anakin doesn't respond, can't respond, because everything the sun is saying resonates with something deep inside him, something he's felt for years, but never allowed himself to acknowledge. The Father appears then, interrupting the moment. His presence is vast and calm, neither light nor dark, but somehow both. Enough, my son. You test him too harshly. He must choose his path freely, without manipulation. The sun bows slightly and fades back into shadow. But before he disappears completely, he leaves Anakin with final words. Remember what you've seen, Skywalker. Remember what's possible. And when the time comes to choose wisely. The trial on Mortis lasts for what feels like days, but is actually only hours in the real world. Anakin faces tests from both the daughter and the son, each one pushing him to his limits. The daughter shows him the beauty of selflessness, the strength that comes from protecting others without thought for yourself. the Son shows him the necessity of decisive action, the reality that sometimes violence and power are the only languages certain threats understand. Through it all, the Father watches, weighing and measuring. When they finally prepare to leave Mortis, the Father pulls Anakin aside. "I have seen your future, chosen one, both of your futures, and I cannot tell you which one you will walk. But I will tell you this: the choice will not come all at once. It will come in 1,000 small moments, 1,000 tiny decisions. Each one will seem insignificant at the time, but together they will determine everything. Choose carefully, choose consciously, and above all, choose for yourself, not because others expect it of you." When they return to normal space, something has changed in Anakin's eyes. Ahsoka notices it first. The way her master seems more centered, more focused, but also somehow colder, more willing to make hard decisions. Obi-Wan notices too, but when he tries to ask about what happened on Mortis, Anakin deflects. "Just learn some things about the Force, Master, about balance, about what it means to be the chosen one. Did the Father tell you anything? Did he reveal your path? He told me I have to choose it myself, and I will, when the time is right." But the seed the Son planted continues to grow in Anakin's mind. Every restriction the Council places on him waters it. Every time he's told to wait, to be patient, to trust in their judgment, it grows stronger, and his relationship with Palpatine deepens. The Chancellor seems to have an instinct for when Anakin needs encouragement, when he needs validation. Their conversations grow longer, more philosophical, more focused on the fundamental questions of power and governance. The Jedi fear attachment because they fear loss. Palpatine says one evening over dinner in his private quarters. They've made this observation before, but now Palpatine pushes it further. "But tell me, Anakin, is it not better to have the power to protect what you love, rather than pretending you love nothing at all? You care for Senator Amidala, don't you? I've seen the way you look at her." Anakin stiffens, his walls going up immediately. "I shouldn't discuss such things. The code forbids attachment." Palpatine leans forward, his eyes intent. "But why? Why does the code forbid the most natural thing in the galaxy? Love drives you to become stronger, to protect those who matter. What is wrong with that? Only the Jedi, with their fear and their dogma, would call love a weakness. The Sith, for all their flaws, at least understand that passion is strength." The mention of the Sith should raise alarms, but somehow it doesn't. Palpatine has been so careful, so gradual in his corrupting influence, that Anakin barely notices how far he's strayed from Jedi orthodoxy. He finds himself nodding, agreeing, opening up about his frustrations in ways he never has before. "They don't trust me," he admits. "The Council, no matter what I do, they see me as a threat." Of course they do. Because you represent everything they fear: change, power, the possibility that their precious order might be wrong about something. They've grown complacent, Anakin, comfortable in their ivory tower while the galaxy suffers. But you see the reality of things. You understand that sometimes achieving real peace requires strength and decisive action. Months pass. The war intensifies. Anakin continues to rack up victories, but the Council's restrictions never ease. Then comes the mission that changes everything. A Republic garrison on Presetlin is under siege by separatist forces. The situation is desperate. Thousands of clone troopers are trapped, surrounded, and facing annihilation. Obi-Wan leads the relief force, but when they arrive, they find the situation even worse than anticipated. The Separatists have orbital superiority, ground superiority, and they're preparing to execute the captured clones to send a message. Anakin's ship drops out of hyperspace alongside Obi-Wan's fleet, and he immediately assesses the tactical situation. It's bad, really bad, but he sees an opening, a narrow window where a fast, aggressive strike could turn the tide. "Master," Obi-Wan's voice crackles over the comm. "We need to wait for additional support. Admiral Yularen is bringing the Third Fleet, but they won't arrive for another 6 hours. If we attack now with insufficient forces, we'll lose everyone." Anakin watches the tactical display, sees the countdown timer indicating when the Separatists will begin executing prisoners. 6 hours! They don't have 6 hours. "We don't have time, Master. They'll be dead before reinforcements arrive. We have to go in now." "Anakin, I understand your concern, but we must think strategically. Sometimes, sacrifices must be made for the greater good. If we commit our forces prematurely and fail, the entire sector could fall. Those men down there are dying, Obi-Wan. Doesn't that matter? Are their lives worth less because they're clones? Because they're soldiers? Of course not. But I'm responsible for the entire task force, not just one garrison. I have to consider all the variables, all the potential outcomes. And what I'm telling you is that charging in without proper support is suicide." We wait for the Third Fleet. Anakin looks at the tactical display again, sees the countdown timer ticking away. He closes his eyes and reaches out with the Force, feeling the terror of the trapped clones, their resignation as they accept that they're going to die. They've given everything for the Republic, followed every order, fought every battle. And now they're going to be abandoned because protocol says it's the smart play. Something inside Anakin rebels against this cold calculus. These aren't numbers on a tactical display. They're people, living beings who deserve better than to be sacrificed on the altar of strategic thinking. He opens his eyes, and they're hard as steel. "I'm not waiting." He cuts the comm before Obi-Wan can respond. His clone commander, Rex, stands beside him on the bridge, his helmet tilted in a question. "Sir, General Kenobi ordered us to wait." "I heard him, Rex, but I'm not following that order. Those are our brothers down there. We don't abandon our brothers." "Sir, with respect, if we go in alone, we might not make it. We'll be outnumbered 3-1. Then I guess we'll need an equalizer." Anakin closes his eyes and reaches deep into the Force, deeper than he's ever gone before. He touches that cold, vast power that has always lurked at the edge of his consciousness, the darkness that the Jedi warned him against. He's touched it before in moments of stress, brief brushes that he pulled back from immediately. But now, he doesn't pull back. He embraces it. He wraps himself in it like a cloak. His eyes flash yellow for just a moment before returning to blue. But something fundamental has changed. For the first time in his life, Anakin Skywalker has consciously, deliberately chosen to use the dark side of the Force. The attack is devastating. Anakin's fighter squadron punches through the Separatist blockade like a spear through paper. Ships that should have been able to target him somehow miss. Their targeting computers malfunctioning at critical moments. Asteroids that were nowhere near the battle suddenly appear in the path of enemy fighters, colliding with them in spectacular explosions. It's as if reality itself bends to accommodate Anakin's will. When they breach the atmosphere and begin their ground assault, Anakin leads from the front. His lightsaber is a blue blur as he tears through battle droids. But it's not just his blade. He lifts entire tanks with the Force and hurls them into enemy formations, crushing dozens of droids at once. He reaches out and simply crushes the central processors of tactical droids, watching them spark and collapse. When a squadron of vulture droids attacks from above, he channels lightning, real Sith lightning, from his fingertips. The blue-white bolts arc through the air, incinerating the fighters mid-flight. The clones watch in awe and horror as their general wields power they've never seen from a Jedi. Some are terrified, others are inspired, but all of them follow him as he carves a path through the Separatist lines. The battle is brutal and chaotic. Anakin moves like a force of nature, unstoppable and terrifying. When a group of super battle droids tries to establish a defensive perimeter, he simply waves his hand and they collapse, their internal systems fried by pure Force energy. When a droid transport tries to escape with Republic prisoners, he reaches out across kilometers of distance and tears it apart, the metal screaming as it's crushed by invisible hands. Rex and the other clones follow in his wake, taking advantage of the chaos to liberate their brothers. The Separatist command structure collapses as Anakin systematically eliminates their leadership, not bothering with arrest or capture. Just elimination. Swift, efficient, and merciless. Within 2 hours, the battle is over. The garrison is liberated. Every single clone has been saved. Not one Republic soldier died in the assault. It's a perfect victory, the kind that will be studied in military academies for years to come. But the cost is written on Anakin's face, in the darkness that now swirls more visibly around him, in the yellow tinge that takes several minutes to fade from his eyes. When Obi-Wan arrives with the Third Fleet, he finds the battle already won. He lands his transport and walks through the battlefield, seeing the destruction, the twisted metal, the signs of power that no Jedi should have used. And at the center of it all, standing amid the wreckage, is Anakin. His former Padawan's robes are scorched and bloodied. His face is pale with exhaustion, but his eyes are clear, bright, almost fevered. Anakin, Obi-Wan's voice is quiet, controlled, but underneath is a tremor of shock and disappointment. What have you done? What I had to, Master. Look around you. Every single clone here is alive. Every single one. If we'd waited for your reinforcements, they'd all be dead. You used the dark side. I used the Force. All of it. And because I did, these men are alive. Would you rather they died so I could remain pure in your eyes? That's not fair, and you know it. You don't understand what you've opened yourself up to. The dark side is seductive. It offers quick solutions, easy power. But it will consume you if you're not careful. It changes you in ways you can't see until it's too late. Then maybe I'm already too late, Master. Because I'm not sorry. I'd do it again tomorrow, if I had to. Do you understand what you're saying? You're a Jedi. We don't use the dark side. We stand as guardians of peace and justice, using the light side of the Force. Am I a Jedi, though? Anakin's voice is bitter now, all the resentment of years spilling out. The Council refuses to knight me. They watch my every move like I'm a criminal. They restrict my missions, second-guess my decisions, and make it clear every day that they don't trust me. Maybe it's time to stop pretending. Their argument is interrupted by the approach of Captain Rex and his men. The clones form up in a rough semicircle behind Anakin, their body language making their allegiance clear. General Skywalker, Rex's voice is firm, certain. On behalf of Torrent Company and the entire 501st Legion, thank you. You saved our brothers when no one else would. We won't forget that. The other clones echo his sentiment, and Anakin feels something warm in his chest. Appreciation, respect, loyalty earned not through fear or obligation, but through action. This is what he's been craving from the Jedi Council and never received. Obi-Wan sees the dynamic and feels a chill run down his spine. The clones' loyalty has shifted from the Republic, from the Jedi Order, to Anakin personally. And given that they outnumber the Jedi 10,000 to 1, that's a terrifyingly dangerous development. We're not finished discussing this, Anakin. When we return to Coruscant, the Council will want a full report. I'm sure they will. They always do. But right now, I need to make sure these men get medical attention and proper rest. We can argue about my methods later. Obi-Wan wants to press, to continue the conversation. But he can see the clone troopers watching them, can feel the tension in the air. So he simply nods and walks away, already dreading the conversation he'll need to have with the Council. The journey back to Coruscant is tense and quiet. Anakin spends most of it in meditation, trying to understand what happened during the battle. The dark side felt different than he expected. Not evil or corrupting, but simply powerful, raw and unfiltered. It responded to his will instantly, without the careful negotiation the light side required. It was like the difference between asking someone for help and simply taking what you needed. And, disturbingly, it felt natural, like he'd been holding back his whole life and finally allowed himself to be fully, completely himself. When they dock at Coruscant, Anakin is immediately summoned before the Council. He stands in the center of their chamber once again. But this time, he's not a frightened child. He's a war hero, a general who has saved thousands of lives, and he meets their judgmental stares with a level gaze of his own. The Council wastes no time in getting to the point. Obi-Wan has reported your actions on Praesetlin, Master Windu says, his voice hard. He states that you used the dark side of the Force, employing techniques forbidden to the Jedi. What do you have to say for yourself? I saved every single soldier on that planet. Not one Republic trooper died. The mission was a complete success. By violating the Jedi Code and using the dark side. Success achieved through darkness is not success, Padawan Skywalker. It is failure dressed in victory's clothing. Anakin feels his temper rising, but he keeps his voice level. Tell that to the families of the clones I saved. Tell that to the men who get to go home. Because I did what was necessary. I'm sure they'll agree with you that I should have let their sons and brothers die to preserve my ideological purity. Master Ki-Adi-Mundi leans forward. You don't understand the danger, young Skywalker. The dark side may seem like a tool, a means to an end, but it is a poison. Every time you use it, every time you draw on anger and aggression, it becomes easier, more tempting, until one day you wake up and realize you've become the very thing we fight against. Or maybe I realize that your arbitrary division between light and dark is exactly that. Arbitrary. The Force is the Force. It's energy. It doesn't have morality. We assign morality to it. And maybe the Jedi's insistence on using only half of what's available is why we're losing this war. The council chambers erupt in shocked muttering. Blasphemy! Master Windu stands, his voice thunderous. You dare speak such heresy in these sacred halls? I dare speak the truth. Look at the galaxy, Masters. Look at the Clone Wars. We've been fighting for years now, and we're no closer to victory than when we started. How many more will die while we debate philosophy and follow outdated rules? How many more planets will burn while we take the moral high ground? Yoda thumps his Gaima stick on the floor, silencing the room. Understand, you do not, young Skywalker. Not about philosophy is this. About survival. The dark side corrupts, absolutely and inevitably. Seen this, I have, over 900 years. Every Jedi who has fallen believed as you do now. Believed they could control it, use it for good. All of them became monsters. We'll not let that happen to you. We will. Then help me. Anakin's frustration boils over, his voice rising. Train me properly, instead of keeping me on a leash. Trust me, instead of treating me like a threat. Give me the tools and knowledge I need to be the chosen one you claim I am. But even as the words leave his mouth, he knows it's futile. He can see it in their eyes. They will never trust him, never give him what he needs, never accept him as he truly is. The judgment comes swiftly. Anakin is suspended from active duty, pending a full investigation into his use of dark side powers. He's confined to the temple, forbidden from taking missions or even leaving the grounds without express permission. It's not quite a rest, but it's close. The humiliation of it, the injustice, burns like acid in Anakin's chest. He leaves the council chambers without another word, but the damage is done. The last fragile threads binding him to the Jedi Order have frayed almost to breaking. That night, alone in his quarters, Anakin meditates on everything that's happened. The battle, the power he felt, the Council's rejection, the clones' loyalty, and slowly, carefully, he reaches a conclusion. The Jedi are not going to change. They cannot see past their dogma, their fear, their rigid interpretation of the Force. If he stays with them, he will always be constrained, always be held back, always be treated as a potential threat, rather than the hero he could be. But where else can he go? What else can he do? He's a Jedi. It's all he's ever been since leaving Tatooine. And then Padme contacts him, through secure channels, carefully encrypted to avoid detection. She's heard about his suspension, about the Council's judgment, and she's worried. They meet in her apartment in the dead of night, when the temple's security is less vigilant. When he arrives, she rushes to him, and they hold each other for a long moment. I heard what happened, she whispers. Anakin, Are you okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. For the first time in my life, I'm seeing clearly. What does that mean? It means I'm done trying to be what they want me to be. I've spent years trying to earn their approval, their trust, but it's never going to happen. They look at me and see a threat, a monster waiting to emerge. So maybe it's time I stopped caring what they think. You're scaring me. Why? Because I finally understand what I am. Because I'm willing to use my full power to protect the people I love? She pulls back slightly, searching his face. There's something different about you. Something in your eyes. Anakin, what did you do on that planet? What I had to, and I'd do it again. The dark side. You used the dark side. He doesn't deny it. Yes. And you know what? It wasn't what the Jedi said it would be. It didn't corrupt me or turn me into a monster. It was just power. Raw, unfiltered power that I used to save lives. That's what frightens me. You don't see the danger. I see the danger perfectly. The danger is in doing nothing while people die. The danger is in following rules that don't make sense. The danger is in being afraid of my own potential. Their conversation goes in circles, neither able to convince the other. But before Anakin leaves, Padme tells him something that changes everything. I'm pregnant. The words hit Anakin like a physical blow. He stares at her, speechless, as joy and terror war in his chest. We're going to have a baby. She's smiling, but there are tears in her eyes. I found out yesterday. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you. Anakin pulls her close, holding her as if she might disappear. This is everything he's ever wanted. A family, love, a future beyond war and conflict. But it's also terrifying because now he has something to lose, someone to protect. And given the Council's attitude toward him, given their restrictions and their fear, how long before they find out? How long before they take this from him too? That night, after leaving Padme's apartment, Anakin dreams again. The same nightmare that plagued him on Tatooine, but worse, more vivid, more real. He sees Padme dying in childbirth, her face pale, her strength fading. He reaches for her, tries to use the Force to heal her, to save her. But his Jedi training has taught him only to let go, to accept loss as natural. He has power flowing through his veins, midi-chlorians that could influence life itself, but not the knowledge to use them. She dies while he watches helplessly. And their child, their beautiful unborn child, dies with her. He wakes up screaming, his sheets soaked with sweat, his heart pounding. The dream felt so real, so certain, like a glimpse of the future rather than just a nightmare. And in that moment of terror and desperation, he knows what he has to do. He needs power, real power, the kind the Jedi have been denying him his whole life, the kind that can save the people he loves. And if the Jedi won't give it to him, he'll find someone who will. Chancellor Palpatine requests a private meeting with Anakin the next day. The timing is almost too perfect. But Anakin is beyond caring about coincidences. The message arrives through encrypted channels, bypassing the usual Senate communication protocols. It's marked urgent and personal, and something about it sends a shiver down Anakin's spine. He knows this meeting will be significant, life-changing even. But he goes anyway, because he needs answers, and Palpatine has always provided them when no one else would. He arrives at the Chancellor's office in the dead of night, when Coruscant's endless city lights create an artificial twilight. The Senate building is nearly empty at this hour. Just a few security droids patrolling the corridors. Anakin uses side entrances and service corridors to avoid being seen, his Jedi training making him nearly invisible to the automated systems. The guards he does encounter simply nod and let him pass. Everyone knows that the Chancellor has taken a special interest in the young war hero. The office itself is massive, befitting the leader of the galactic government. Ornate furniture from a dozen different worlds decorates the space, and the walls are lined with art and artifacts from throughout Republic history. But the most striking feature is the floor-to-ceiling window that offers a panoramic view of the city. Millions of lights stretch to the horizon, representing trillions of lives, all of them dependent on the decisions made in rooms like this. Palpatine stands before that window, his hands clasped behind his back, looking out over his domain. He doesn't turn when Anakin enters, doesn't acknowledge his presence immediately, just continues staring out at the city, as if contemplating something profound. When he finally speaks, his voice is soft, almost melancholic. "Ah, Anakin, my boy, I was hoping you'd come. I've been following your career with great interest, and I must say, I'm deeply troubled by the Council's treatment of you, not just recently, but throughout your entire tenure with them. They've never truly appreciated what you are, what you could become." Anakin walks further into the room, his boots silent on the plush carpet. "I appreciate the concern, Chancellor, but I didn't come here to complain about the Council. I came because I need answers. About the Force, about power, about things the Jedi won't teach me." Palpatine finally turns to face him, and there's something different in his eyes, something knowing and ancient and deeply unsettling. The kindly grandfather persona he usually wears has slipped just slightly, revealing something far older and more dangerous beneath. "No, you came here because you're searching for a way to save Senator Amidala, because you've been having visions of her death, and you're desperate to prevent them, because the Jedi Council, with all their wisdom and their power, have told you to simply let go, to accept loss as natural. But you can't do that, can you? You love her too much." Anakin's hand drops to his lightsaber instinctively. "How do you know about the visions? About Padme? I've been watching you for years, Anakin. Since you were a child, actually. I've seen your potential, sensed your power, and I've been waiting for this moment, when you would finally be ready to hear the truth." He gestures to a chair. "Please, sit. We have much to discuss, and some of it may be difficult to hear." Anakin hesitates, every instinct screaming that this is dangerous, that he should leave now and report this conversation to the Council. But his desperation overrides his caution. He sits, perching on the edge of the ornate chair, ready to move if necessary. His hand never strays far from his weapon. Palpatine settles into his own chair, taking his time, letting the tension build. He pours 2 glasses of Alderaanian wine from a crystal decanter, offering one to Anakin. The young Jedi accepts it but doesn't drink, just holds it in his hands. The Chancellor takes a slow sip of his own before beginning. "Tell me, Anakin, what do you know about the Chosen One prophecy? the real prophecy. Not the sanitized version the Jedi teach their younglings, only what the Jedi have told me. That I'm supposed to bring balance to the Force by destroying the Sith. That my existence was predicted thousands of years ago. That I was conceived by the midichlorians themselves for this purpose. And do you believe that? Believe what? That you're the chosen one, or that your purpose is to destroy the Sith? Both, I suppose. Though I've never been completely sure, the Council certainly seems to have their doubts. That's because the Jedi have only told you half the story, Palpatine says, his voice taking on a professorial quality, as if he's about to deliver a lecture on ancient history. You see, there are two chosen one prophecies, not one. The Jedi know this, though they try desperately to suppress the knowledge. The first prophecy, the one they've told you about, speaks of a savior who will destroy the Sith and bring balance through the light. A hero who will restore the Jedi Order to its former glory and usher in an age of peace. He pauses, taking another sip of wine, letting Anakin process this information. But there's a second prophecy, hidden in the deepest vaults of the Jedi archives. A prophecy they discovered thousands of years ago and have been terrified of ever since. It speaks of a dark chosen one, a conqueror who will unite the galaxy through strength, bringing balance not through the destruction of evil, but through absolute dominance, through becoming the darkness so total, so overwhelming, that no other darkness can exist beside it. Anakin's blood runs cold. His wine glass trembles slightly in his hand. How do you know about this? The Council never mentioned a second prophecy. They certainly would have told me if I could fulfill either one. Would they? Palpatine leans forward, his eyes intense. Think about it, Anakin. If they told you that you could become either the savior or the destroyer, how would that shape your training? How would it affect every decision you make? No, they chose to keep you ignorant, to hope that by suppressing half the truth, they could force you onto the path they wanted. But prophecies don't work that way. You can't escape destiny by pretending it doesn't exist. You still haven't answered my question. How do you know about this? Because I have spent my entire life studying the Force in all its aspects. Not just the narrow, dogmatic view the Jedi cling to, but the full truth, the complete picture. I've read texts the Jedi tried to destroy, studied holocrons they locked away, explored temples they declared forbidden. And in doing so, I've learned things that would make even Master Yoda's ears curl with horror. Palpatine stands and walks to a hidden panel in his office wall. He presses a sequence of buttons, and the panel slides open to reveal a small collection of artifacts. Sith holocrons, their crystalline structures glowing faintly with dark energy. Ancient texts bound in leather that might not be leather at all. Weapons that hum with malevolent purpose. The Sith had knowledge that the Jedi tried to erase from history. He continues, his back still to Anakin. Knowledge of how to influence the midichlorians, how to prevent death itself, how to truly master the Force rather than merely serving it. They understood something the Jedi never have. That power is not inherently evil. It's simply power. What matters is how you use it, and for what purpose. Anakin sets down his wine glass with a trembling hand. You're talking about the dark side. You're talking about Sith teachings. Chancellor, what are you saying? I'm saying that the dark side is not the corrupting force the Jedi claim it to be. It's simply the other half of the Force, the half they're too afraid to touch. Yes, It can be dangerous if used carelessly. Yes, it requires strength of will to master. But it's no more inherently evil than a lightsaber or a blaster. It's a tool, Anakin. An incredibly powerful tool that could give you the strength to save Padme. The name hangs in the air between them like an explosive waiting to detonate. Anakin rises from his chair, his hand now firmly on his lightsaber hilt. You need to stop talking, Chancellor. Right now. Whatever you're about to say, whatever you're suggesting, I don't want to hear it. Don't you? Palpatine turns to face him fully, and now the mask is completely gone. His eyes glow faintly yellow in the dim light of the office, and his smile is cold and knowing. Don't you want to know how to save her? How to prevent the visions you've been having from coming true? The Jedi Council would tell you to let go, to accept her death as the will of the Force. But I can teach you to defy that will, to impose your own will upon reality itself. You're a Sith. The accusation is barely a whisper, but it carries the weight of revelation. Everything clicks into place. The Chancellor's unusual interest in him, the philosophical conversations that always seemed to push against Jedi teachings, the way he was always there, always ready, with advice that contradicted the Council. It was all grooming, all manipulation, all part of a plan decades in the making. I am, Palpatine confirms, and the relief in his voice is almost palpable, as if he's glad to finally drop the pretense. I have been for many years operating in plain sight, manipulating events from the shadows. I am Darth Sidious, Dark Lord of the Sith, and I am the one who orchestrated the Clone Wars. Every battle, every death, every moment of suffering was part of my grand design to reshape the galaxy. Anakin's lightsaber ignites with a snap hiss of blue light. Then I'm placing you under arrest, Chancellor. Or should I say, Lord Sidious. The Senate will decide your fate. Will they? Palpatine doesn't seem concerned about the weapon pointed at him. He simply walks calmly back to the window, gazing out over the city. Tell me, if you arrest me right now, what happens? The war continues, probably for decades more. Trillions more die in the crossfire. The corruption in the Senate remains. And most importantly, you never learn how to save Padme. She dies in childbirth, and your children are taken from you by a Jedi Order that never trusted you in the first place. Is that really the outcome you want? Anakin's lightsaber wavers. His arm trembles with the effort of keeping it steady. Every part of his Jedi training screams at him to strike, to end this threat right now. But Palpatine's words have planted seeds of doubt that are already taking root. You're trying to manipulate me. That's what Sith do. They lie and twist the truth until you can't tell right from wrong. Am I lying? Palpatine spreads his hands in a gesture of openness. Everything I've told you can be verified. The second prophecy exists in your own archives. The techniques to prevent death are real. Documented in texts, the Jedi locked away but never destroyed. The corruption in the Senate, the failures of the Republic, the shortcomings of the Jedi Order. All of these are facts you've observed yourself. I'm not asking you to believe me blindly. I'm asking you to think for yourself. To question the dogma you've been fed your entire life. By becoming a Sith? By betraying everything I've ever believed in? What have you believed in, Anakin? Really believed in your heart? The Jedi Code that forbids you from loving the woman who completes you? The council that has never trusted you despite all your sacrifices? The Republic that allowed slavery to flourish on Tatooine for generations while they debated trade routes and taxation? Tell me, what part of that system is worth preserving? The words cut deep because they're true. Anakin has had these same thoughts himself. Late at night, when he couldn't sleep, when the weight of the war and the Council's restrictions became too much to bear. But hearing them spoken aloud, validated by someone else, makes them feel more real, more justified. I don't know, he admits quietly, his lightsaber finally lowering. I don't know what I believe anymore. Everything used to be so clear. Light and dark, good and evil, Jedi and Sith. But nothing makes sense anymore. The Jedi claim to serve peace, but we're leading armies. We claim to reject attachment, but we're fighting to preserve a republic we're attached to. We claim to follow the will of the Force, but we ignore half of what the Force is. Now you're beginning to understand. Palpatine's voice is gentle now, almost fatherly. The Jedi have painted the world in absolutes, because absolutes are easy to teach, easy to follow. But the universe is not absolute, Anakin. It's filled with shades of gray, with difficult choices, with situations where the right path is unclear. And in that uncertainty, in that moral complexity, the Jedi freeze. They retreat to their dogma and their rules because thinking for themselves is too frightening. He walks to his desk and picks up a small datapad, tapping a few commands. A hologram springs to life, showing a star map of the galaxy. Red sectors indicate separatist control. Blue shows Republic territory, and yellow marks contested zones. But what's striking is how much of the galaxy is colored gray, neutral or forgotten, places where neither side has influence or interest. Look at this, Palpatine says, gesturing to the hologram. This is what your Republic looks like. The core worlds and inner rim, safe and prosperous and blue. The outer rim, gray and forgotten, left to slavery and poverty and suffering. And in between, a war that grinds on year after year, consuming resources and lives while achieving nothing. This is what the Jedi defend. This is the system they fight to preserve. Does it look just to you? Does it look worth dying for? Anakin stares at the hologram, seeing the truth of it. He's been to dozens of those gray worlds, seen the suffering firsthand. Worlds where Republic law is a distant theory and local warlords rule through force. Worlds where children are sold like property and no one cares enough to intervene. Worlds that the Senate debates and discusses and does nothing about. No, he whispers. No, it doesn't look worth dying for. But that doesn't mean your way is right. The Sith are conquerors, tyrants. You'd replace one corrupt system with something even worse. Would I? Palpatine deactivates the hologram and turns to face Anakin fully. What if I told you that I've orchestrated this entire war not for conquest, but for transformation? That every move I've made has been to expose the rot in the Republic, to force change that could never happen through normal channels. The Senate is corrupt beyond saving, bought and paid for by corporate interests. The Jedi are stagnant, clinging to traditions that are millennia out of date. The Republic itself is a dying star, and no amount of hope or idealism will change that. He begins to pace again, his voice taking on a visionary quality. But from its ashes, something better could rise. An empire built on order and strength. A galaxy where the strong protect the weak instead of exploiting them, where decisions are made swiftly and efficiently instead of being debated endlessly in committees, where power is used for actual good instead of being hoarded by those too afraid to wield it. That's what I'm offering you, Anakin. Not tyranny, but order. Not conquest, but unity. Not evil, but a better way forward. And all I have to do is betray everyone I've ever known, help you destroy the Jedi Order, become your apprentice, and do your bidding? Yes. Palpatine's honesty is almost shocking. Yes, that is exactly what I'm asking. I won't lie to you about the cost. Many Jedi will die. The Republic you knew will end, and you will be forever changed by the path you walk. But in exchange, I will teach you to save Padme. I will give you the power to protect everyone you love. I will help you become what you are always meant to be, free from the chains the Jedi placed on you from the moment you arrived at their temple. He walks back to Anakin, placing a hand on his shoulder, a gesture that's almost paternal, almost caring. And more than that, I will not treat you as an apprentice meant to serve me forever. The rule of two exists for a reason. The apprentice grows, learns, and eventually surpasses the master. That is the way of the Sith. I am old, Anakin. I have accomplished much, but I am not immortal. You, however, you are young and powerful beyond measure. You are the chosen one. My role is to guide you to your destiny, not to chain you to mine. When you are ready, when you have learned all I can teach, you will surpass me. You will become the master. And perhaps then, the Sith and their rule of two will end entirely, replaced by something new, something only the chosen one could create. What do you mean? I mean that you are not bound by the limitations of Jedi or Sith. You are something unprecedented, something that transcends our ancient conflict. The dark side prophecy speaks of one who brings balance through dominance, but it doesn't specify that you must be a Sith. You could be something else entirely, something that uses all aspects of the Force, both light and dark, wielding each as the situation demands. True balance, Anakin. Not the Jedi's denial of half the Force, and not the Sith's complete surrender to darkness, but mastery of everything. The vision is seductive, intoxicating, even. Anakin can almost see it. A future where he's not constrained by anyone's rules, where he has the power to actually fix the galaxy's problems instead of just reacting to them. A future where Padme lives, where his children grow up safe, where slavery is abolished, and the suffering he witnessed as a child is ended. All he has to do is take this final step, make this choice, cross this line. But he hesitates, because once he crosses that line, there's no going back. He'll be a traitor, a Sith, everything the Jedi warned him about. How do I know you're not lying? How do I know this isn't just another manipulation? You don't. Palpatine's honesty is disarming. You can't know for certain. You'll have to make a choice based on incomplete information, just like every important choice in life. But ask yourself this: who has been more honest with you? The Jedi Council, who kept secrets from you, restricted your training, and never fully trusted you? Or me, who has always been straightforward about the costs and benefits of power? Who has treated you as an equal instead of a potential threat? The argument is compelling. Too compelling. Anakin knows he should see through it, should recognize the manipulation for what it is. But his desperation, his fear for Padme, his resentment toward the Council, all of it clouds his judgment. You said you can teach me to save her, to prevent death. How? Palpatine's eyes gleam with triumph, knowing he's won. He walks to one of the Sith holocrons and activates it. A ghostly figure appears, an ancient Sith Lord, whose name has been lost to time. The figure begins to speak in an archaic dialect, and Palpatine translates. This is Darth Plagueis the Wise, my own master. Though the Jedi have no record of him, he was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. He could actually save people from death, yes. But the technique is complex, requiring years of study and practice. It demands an understanding of midi-chlorians that goes far beyond what the Jedi teach. You must learn to sense them individually, to communicate with them, to influence their behavior at a cellular level. It requires pushing past pain, past fear, past every limitation your Jedi training has imposed on you. And it requires embracing the dark side fully, without reservation or hesitation. And you'll teach me this? I will teach you everything Plagueis taught me, and more. But in exchange, you must help me complete my plan. The Jedi Council is moving against me as we speak. They sense the Sith presence in the Senate and are closing in on my identity. Within days, perhaps hours, they will attempt to arrest me. And when they do, I will need you to make a choice. Stand with them and watch Padme die, or stand with me and save her. When will they come? Soon. Master Windu is leading the investigation, and he's not a fool. But until then, let me show you the first steps, a taste of what I can teach you. Sit, Anakin, clear your mind, and prepare to see the Force as you never have before. Against every instinct, against every warning screaming in his mind, Anakin sits, and Palpatine begins to teach. He shows Anakin how to sense midi-chlorians, how to feel their presence within living cells, how to push his consciousness into that microscopic realm where the Force and biology intersect. It's unlike anything Anakin has ever experienced. And the power of it, the potential of it, is staggering. Hours pass. The night deepens, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, Anakin Skywalker takes his first true steps toward becoming Darth Mortis. The accusation hangs in the air between them. Palpatine smiles, and this time it reaches his eyes. They glow faintly yellow in the dim light of the office. I have been for many years, orchestrating events from the shadows, playing both sides of this war. I am Darth Sidious, Dark Lord of the Sith. And before you reach for your lightsaber, before you consider attacking me, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I am not your enemy, Anakin. I never have been. Anakin's hand hovers near his weapon, but he doesn't draw it. If you're Sidious, then you're the one behind this entire war. You've orchestrated the deaths of millions, guilty as charged. But ask yourself, what was the galaxy before this war? A corrupt, stagnant republic where entire systems suffered under the boot of corporate greed and Senate inefficiency. Where the Jedi sat in their temple and debated philosophy while atrocities happened on their doorstep. This war, for all its horrors, has exposed those rot. It has forced change, and from its ashes, something better can emerge, something stronger, something you could help build. Why are you telling me this? Why reveal yourself now? Because everything I've done, every manipulation, every calculated move has been to create the conditions necessary for someone like you to emerge. Someone strong enough to bring true order to this chaos. The Jedi want to destroy me, and they should. I represent everything they fear, but I offer you something they never will. I offer you truth. The truth that power is not evil. The truth that you are destined for greatness beyond their comprehension. The truth about how to save Padme. Anakin's eyes widen. How do you know about Padme? I know many things. I know you've been having visions of her death. I know the Jedi Council would tell you to let go, to accept loss as natural. But you don't have to accept it. Anakin, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Abilities that could save her? Yes. The technique is complex, requiring a deep understanding of the midi-chlorians and how they respond to Force manipulation. But it can be learned. It can be mastered. And I can teach you. What's the price? Because there's always a price. Palpatine walks back to the window, looking out over the city. The price is this. Help me destroy the Jedi Order and crush the remaining Separatist leadership. Together, we will bring peace and order to the galaxy. A new order, free from the corruption of the Republic and the dogma of the Jedi. You want me to betray everyone I've ever known, to become a Sith. I want you to fulfill your destiny, not as a Sith, not as a Jedi, but as something greater, the chosen one of the dark side, the one who will bring balance not through the destruction of evil, but through the establishment of order so absolute that chaos cannot exist. But you just said you're a Sith Lord. You want me to serve you, to be your apprentice. Palpatine turns back to face him, and for the first time, Anakin sees something like respect in the old man's eyes. For a time, perhaps. I won't lie to you, Anakin. The Sith follow the rule of two. One master, one apprentice. I would take you as my apprentice, teach you the secrets I've spent decades accumulating. But I sense your true potential. You are not meant to be anyone's apprentice forever. Not mine, not the Jedi's. You are the chosen one of the dark side. The prophecy speaks of one who will bring balance through dominance, through absolute power. That is your destiny. Not to serve, but to rule. And what about you? Where do you fit in this new order? That, my boy, remains to be seen. Perhaps we rule together, master and apprentice, standing as equals. Perhaps you surpass me and take my place, as the rule of two demands. I am not so arrogant as to believe I am the end of the Sith lineage. I am simply the one who will help you ascend to your throne. But first, We must eliminate those who would stand in our way. The Jedi must fall. The Separatists must be brought to heel. And from the ashes, we will build an empire. Not the corrupt, inefficient republic, but something clean and strong. Order imposed through strength. Peace maintained through power. Anakin's mind races. Everything Palpatine is saying should horrify him. He should refuse, should arrest the Chancellor, should expose him to the Council. But all he can think about is Padme dying, her life slipping away while he stands helpless. All he can think about is the power he felt during the battle, the certainty and strength. All he can think about is finally being free of the Jedi's restrictions, their fear, their endless judgment. I need time to think about this. Of course, this is not a decision to be made lightly, but I should warn you, time is not on our side. The Jedi Council suspects something. They're investigating the Sith presence they sense in the Senate. It won't be long before they narrow their search to me. And when they do, they will strike. If you're not with me when that happens, you'll be caught in the crossfire. And Padme will die while you're still debating philosophy. The threat is subtle but effective. Anakin leaves the Chancellor's office with his mind in turmoil. But deep down, he already knows what his choice will be. He can feel it, like a current pulling him inexorably toward darkness. Not because he's evil or corrupt, but because he loves too much, fears too much, wants too much. And the Jedi way of letting go, of acceptance, of serenity in the face of loss, it's not in him. It never was. Over the next few days, Anakin researches everything he can about the Sith, about the dark side, about the techniques that Palpatine mentioned. He breaks into restricted sections of the Jedi archives, using his knowledge of temple security to avoid detection. What he finds both terrifies and fascinates him. Ancient Sith holocrons, confiscated over millennia and locked away. Texts describing powers the Jedi declared forbidden. And among those texts, he finds references to the very technique Palpatine mentioned: midi-chlorian manipulation. The ability to influence the microscopic organisms that allow force sensitivity, to enhance healing, to prevent death itself. It's real. It's possible. And the Jedi have known about it for thousands of years, but declared it too dangerous to study. They'd rather let people die than risk someone using the dark side to save them. The hypocrisy of it makes Anakin's blood boil. Over the next few days, Anakin exists in a state of suspended reality. He attends council meetings and training sessions, going through the motions while his mind churns with everything Palpatine has shown him. The Sith Lord's initial lesson opened a door he can't close, revealing possibilities that both terrify and exhilarate him. At night, he practices the techniques in secret, feeling the midi-chlorians respond to his will, sensing the potential to truly master life and death itself. But the crisis comes sooner than either of them expects. 3 days after their meeting, Anakin receives an urgent summons from the council. When he arrives at the temple, he finds it buzzing with activity. Jedi are being recalled from across the galaxy. Ships are being prepped for departure. Something big is happening. Master Windu meets him in the corridor, his expression grim. "Skywalker, we have identified the Sith Lord. After years of searching, we finally know who Darth Sidious is." Anakin's heart hammers in his chest. His mouth goes dry. Who? Chancellor Palpatine. We have evidence linking him to Count Dooku, to the Separatist leadership, to everything. He's been playing both sides of this war from the beginning. I'm taking a strike team to arrest him now. You're to remain at the temple until this is resolved. Master Windu, wait. You can't just arrest the Supreme Chancellor without proof, without a trial. We have all the proof we need. And given his power in the dark side, given the danger he represents, we can't afford to let him lawyer his way out of this. If he resists arrest, we will do what must be done. The Jedi Order will finally end the Sith, just as the prophecy foretold. What if you're wrong? What if this is all a mistake? We're not wrong. Windu's voice is hard, certain. I've sensed the darkness in him myself, now that I know where to look. Trust in the Force, Skywalker. Trust in the Council. This ends today. He strides off with Masters Fisto, Teen, and Kolar in tow. 4 of the Order's finest warriors, heading to confront the Dark Lord of the Sith. Anakin watches them go, his mind racing. Everything is happening too fast. He needs time to think, to process, to make sense of what's happening. But time has run out. He pulls out his comlink with trembling hands and activates Palpatine's private frequency. Master Windu knows who you are. He's coming to arrest you right now with 3 other council members. The Chancellor's voice is eerily calm when he responds. I know. I've been expecting this. The time for pretense has ended. Come to my office, Anakin. Now, you must choose. Will you stand with the Jedi who have never trusted you, who will let Padme die rather than embrace the power to save her? Or will you stand with me and seize your destiny? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Then come, watch what happens. See the Jedi for what they truly are, and then decide. The comm goes dead. Anakin stands frozen in the temple corridor, torn between 2 impossible choices. Every fiber of his Jedi training tells him to stay, to follow orders, to trust the Council. But a deeper voice, the voice of fear and love and desperate hope, drives him toward the Senate building. He has to see what happens, has to know if Palpatine was telling the truth, has to understand before it's too late. He takes a speeder, flying recklessly through Coruscant's air traffic, dodging between buildings and transport ships. His hands grip the controls so tightly they hurt. His heart pounds against his ribs like a trapped animal. He's never felt so conflicted, so unsure. By the time he reaches the Senate building and races toward Palpatine's office, the confrontation has already begun. He arrives to find lightsabers flashing, the office in chaos. Master Windu stands alone, his purple blade locked against Palpatine's blood-red lightsaber. The bodies of Fisto, Teen, and Kolar lie on the floor, cut down so quickly they barely had time to activate their weapons. The Sith Lord is far more powerful than anyone anticipated, but Master Windu is holding his own. His mastery of Varpad, the form that channels darkness back at his opponents, gives him an edge even against a Sith as skilled as Sidious. Anakin watches, frozen in the doorway, as the 2 masters duel with blinding speed. Furniture explodes, windows shatter, the very air crackles with Force energy. You are under arrest. Chancellor! Windu's voice is thunderous. The Sith will end. The corruption will be exposed, and the Republic will finally be free. The Republic you seek to save is already dead. Palpatine snarls back, his face twisted with rage, his yellow eyes blazing. Killed by the Jedi's weakness and the Senate's greed. I am the only one with the strength to save it. Then you will die. With a final devastating sequence of strikes, Windu disarms the Sith Lord. Palpatine's lightsaber flies from his grip, spinning away across the room. The Chancellor falls back against the window, his face a mask of fear and desperation. Please, don't kill me. I surrender. I'll stand trial. Just don't kill me. Windu stands over the fallen Sith Lord, his lightsaber raised. He's too dangerous to be left alive. Anakin, he's a traitor and must be dealt with according to the law. Master Windu. Wait. Anakin steps forward, his voice desperate. He has to stand trial. We can't just execute him. That's not the Jedi way. He's too dangerous to be left alive. His corruption runs too deep. He has control of the Senate and all the systems. He's too dangerous to be left alive. But Anakin sees something else in Windu's face. Not justice, but vindication. Not duty, but satisfaction. The Jedi Master is enjoying this. Enjoying the power of standing over a defeated enemy. And in that moment, Anakin realizes that the line between Jedi and Sith might not be as clear as he thought. I need him, Anakin blurts out. He knows how to save Padme. He knows techniques that can prevent death. Windu's expression hardens. Then the Sith have already won. You've already fallen. He raises his lightsaber for the killing blow, and Anakin moves without thinking. His lightsaber ignites and swings in a desperate arc, severing Windu's hand at the wrist. The Jedi Master's arm, still clutching his purple blade, spins away through the air. Windu screams, more in shock than pain, and stumbles backward. Palpatine strikes instantly. Lightning erupts from his fingertips, catching Windu full in the chest. The Jedi Master is lifted off his feet and hurled through the shattered window. His scream fades as he falls into the Coruscant night, disappearing into the city below. Anakin stares at his outstretched hand, the hand that just saved a Sith Lord and condemned a Jedi Master to death. What have I done? His voice is hollow, broken. Palpatine rises to his feet, his face still twisted with dark side corruption. You have taken your first step into a larger world. You have done what is necessary. Master Windu would have destroyed us both. What have I done? Anakin repeats, falling to his knees. I've betrayed the Order. I've killed a Jedi Master. What have I done? You have saved the galaxy, Palpatine says, placing a hand on Anakin's shoulder. And you have saved your wife. But our work is not finished. The Jedi will not forgive this. They will not rest until we are both destroyed. We must act first, decisively, and without mercy. Every Jedi in the temple must be eliminated. Only then can we end this war and build a better galaxy. Every Jedi? But they're my friends, my teachers. Some of them are just children. They are all potential threats. Even the younglings will grow to oppose us, to try to restore the failed system we're replacing. I will not lie to you about the cost. Anakin, this will be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it must be done. The Jedi Order has to end for the galaxy to move forward. Anakin's mind reels. He's crossed a line, but he's not sure he can cross this one. Killing Windu in a moment of desperation is one thing, but systematically executing the entire Order? I can't. I won't. Then Padme dies. Palpatine's voice is cold, final. The visions you've been having are the Force showing you the future. Without my knowledge, without the techniques I can teach you, she will die in childbirth. Your children will grow up without a mother, and you will live with that failure for the rest of your life. Is that what you want? No. Anakin's anguish is palpable. But there has to be another way. There isn't. This is the price of power, Anakin. The price of being strong enough to protect those you love. The Jedi taught you to let go, to accept loss. But I'm offering you the strength to defy loss itself, to impose your will on the universe. But you must be willing to pay the cost. He activates a comlink and speaks a single code phrase. Execute Order 66. Throughout the galaxy, on 1,000 battlefields, clone troopers receive the command. Their inhibitor chips activate, overriding loyalty and friendship, turning them into executioners. Jedi generals who trusted their clones implicitly are suddenly gunned down from behind. Masters who led armies are betrayed by the soldiers they commanded. The purge begins in an instant, coordinated and merciless. And in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, alarms begin to blare. Emergency lights flash red as clone troopers, the 501st Legion that Anakin himself commanded, march through the main entrance. They don't come as allies, they come as an army. Anakin feels the disturbance in the Force, feels the death of Jedi across the galaxy like stars winking out one by one. And he knows that Palpatine has set events in motion that cannot be stopped. The Order is already falling. The only question is whether he will be part of its destruction or its final defense. He thinks of Padme, of the twins she carries, of the vision of her dying, of losing everything that matters, and he makes his choice. What do you need me to do? Lead the assault on the temple. Palpatine's voice is satisfied, triumphant. The clones will handle the majority of the fighting, but there will be masters there who can resist them. You know the temple better than anyone. You know where the Jedi will make their stands. You know their tactics, their defenses. Guide the attack. Ensure that none escape. And the younglings, especially the younglings, they are the future of the Jedi Order. As long as they live, the Order can rebuild. They must be dealt with, no matter how difficult. Anakin closes his eyes, feeling the weight of what he's about to do crushing down on him. But he's already crossed one line. What's another? What's 100 more? If the cost of saving Padme is his soul, then so be it. He'll pay that price and bear the guilt for the rest of his life. Tell me you'll teach me. Tell me you'll show me how to save her. I will teach you everything. But first, this. Palpatine walks to his desk and pulls out a holographic recorder. He sets it to transmit across all Jedi frequencies. This is a message to all Jedi. The Sith Lord, known as Darth Sidious, has been exposed and defeated by Master Windu. But in the battle, the good Master was killed. Anakin Skywalker, the hero of the Clone Wars, witnessed this tragedy. It is with deep regret that I must inform you that there was a Jedi plot to assassinate me and take control of the Republic. Master Windu led this coup, and Anakin Skywalker stood against them. For his loyalty to the Republic, I am granting him the rank of Master and command of all military forces. The Jedi Order is hereby declared traitors to the Republic. All Jedi are to be arrested on sight. Those who resist will be dealt with accordingly. The message transmits across the galaxy. And in the temple, Jedi, who have served the Republic for generations, are suddenly branded as traitors. The confusion, the disbelief, gives the clone troopers the precious seconds they need to begin their assault. Anakin takes a transport ship to the temple, his mind numb, his heart encased in ice. He can't afford to feel now, can't afford to think about what he's doing. He just has to do it, complete the mission, and then he can learn the technique to save Padmé. Everything else is secondary. The 501st is already inside when he arrives. Their armor is painted with Ahsoka's distinctive patterns, a reminder of happier times when they fought for something good and pure. Now they're fighting to destroy the very order they once served. Blaster fire echoes through the ancient halls as temple guards attempt to mount a defense, but they're outnumbered and caught off guard. And they fall one by one. Anakin moves through the chaos like a specter. His lightsaber ignites, and the Jedi who see him initially feel relief. Anakin Skywalker, the hero with no fear, has come to save them. But then his blade cuts through a Padawan, and their relief turns to horror. He's not here to save them. He's here to end them. A group of knights attempts to confront him, their lightsabers drawn. Anakin, what are you doing? This is madness. The clones have gone mad. The clones are following orders. New orders from a new government. The Republic is dead. The Empire has begun, and the Jedi have no place in it. He doesn't give them time to process this. His attack is swift and brutal, driven by the dark side that he's finally embraced fully. His blade moves with inhuman speed, cutting through defenses that would stop lesser opponents. These are Jedi he's trained with, sparred with, fought alongside, and now he's killing them because he has to. Because the price of weakness is Padmé's death. Because he's already damned. So he might as well see this through to the end. The slaughter continues through the temple. Council chamber, training rooms, meditation gardens, archives. Everywhere, Jedi fall to clone blasters or Anakin's blade. Some try to fight. Some try to flee. None succeed. By the time Anakin reaches the youngling's training room, his robes are scorched and bloodied, and his eyes have taken on a permanent yellow tinge. The children huddle together in the council chamber, led there by their instructor who hoped the sacred room might protect them. They range in age from 4 to 12, representing a dozen species from across the galaxy. When Anakin enters, many of them recognize him. Master Skywalker! A young human boy steps forward, relief evident on his face. There's too many of them. What are we going to do? Anakin looks at the boy, sees the trust in his eyes, sees all the younglings looking at him with hope, believing he's here to save them, and something inside him breaks. Not his resolve. He's too far gone for that. But some last vestige of Anakin Skywalker, some final echo of the Jedi he once was, dies in that moment. I'm sorry, he whispers, so quietly that only the Force carries the words. But this is the only way. His lightsaber ignites, and the youngling's hope turns to terror. The task is horrific, but he completes it because he must. Because this is the price. Because Padmé and their children are worth any cost, any sin, any damnation. When it's done, when the council chamber is silent, except for the hum of his blade, Anakin stands among the bodies of children and feels nothing. He's killed that part of himself that could feel horror at this, has buried it so deep that it can never surface again. Lord Vader. Palpatine's voice comes through his comlink, using the name they'd discussed earlier. The temple is secure. Your mission is complete. Well done, my apprentice. Now, there is one more task. The Separatist Council is gathering on Mustafar. They believe they're safe, that they've won. Go there. End them. Bring peace to this war, once and for all. Anakin, now truly Vader, leaves the temple behind. Behind him, the 501st continues their grim work, hunting down any Jedi who might have hidden in the lower levels. The temple, which has stood for millennia as a beacon of light, burns. The Jedi Order, which has protected the galaxy for generations, dies. And the man who was Anakin Skywalker flies toward Mustafar, toward his final mission, toward the complete embrace of his new identity. The flight to Mustafar gives him time to think, to process what he's done. He's left the Jedi Order, betrayed everyone who trained him, who believed in him, cast aside years of teaching and tradition. But he doesn't feel guilty. He feels liberated. For the first time in years, he's not bound by someone else's expectations. He's not constantly being judged and found wanting. He's simply Anakin Skywalker, charting his own course, making his own choices. The dark side surges within him, no longer suppressed or hidden, and it doesn't feel corrupting or evil. It feels like coming home. When he arrives at Mustafar, Palpatine is waiting for him. The Sith Lord stands in the control room of the mining facility, his yellow eyes glowing in the dim light. Behind him, the Separatist Council huddles nervously, unsure why they've been summoned here. Ah, Anakin, I knew you would come. The Separatist leaders look confused. Anakin Skywalker? What is the chosen one of the Jedi doing here? Palpatine's smile is cold and cruel. He's here to end the war. Gentlemen, your services are no longer required. The Council barely has time to realize what's happening before Anakin ignites his lightsaber. His blue blade flashes in the dim light as he moves among them like death incarnate. These are not warriors or soldiers. They're politicians and bureaucrats, defenseless against a Jedi of Anakin's caliber. Newt Gunray, the Neimoidian who has caused so much suffering, tries to run. Anakin catches him with the Force, lifting him off the ground and pulling him back. Please, we can negotiate. There is no negotiation. Only the end you've earned. The blade comes down, and one by one, the Separatist leaders fall. When it's done, when the room is silent except for the crackling of fires and the hum of Anakin's lightsaber, Palpatine steps forward. Well done, my new apprentice. With the Separatist leadership eliminated, I can contact their droid armies and shut them down. The war will be over by morning. And the Republic? The Republic is dead. Long live the Empire. But there is still work to be done. The Jedi Order still exists, scattered across the galaxy. We must hunt down every last one of them. Only then can we truly begin building our new order. Anakin deactivates his lightsaber. And Padme? The knowledge to save her? I will teach you everything you need to know. But first, you must complete your transformation. You are no longer Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Padawan. You are Darth. Palpatine pauses, considering. What name shall you take? Anakin thinks for a moment, remembering his experience on Mortis, the realm where he first glimpsed his true potential, where he stood between light and dark and chose to embrace both. Darth Mortis, named after the realm where I learned that balance does not mean choosing one side or the other. It means mastering both. Palpatine's smile widens. Perfect. Rise, Darth Mortis. Together, we will forge a galaxy of order and peace. But as Anakin, now Mortis, stands beside his new master, he's already planning, already thinking ahead. Palpatine has promised him knowledge, promised him power, and Mortis will take everything the Sith Lord can teach. But he has no intention of remaining an apprentice forever. He is the chosen one, and eventually he will surpass his master, will take his place, will become something the galaxy has never seen before. Not a Jedi, not a Sith, but a ruler who transcends both. The hunt for the remaining Jedi takes months. Mortis throws himself into the task with frightening efficiency. He knows how Jedi think, how they hide, how they survive, and he uses that knowledge to track them down systematically. Some try to fight. He defeats them easily, his mastery of both light and dark making him virtually unstoppable. Others try to reason with him, to appeal to his former identity. He ignores their pleas. Anakin Skywalker died on Coruscant. Only Mortis remains. And then comes the confrontation he's been dreading. Word reaches him that Obi-Wan Kenobi has been spotted on Tatooine, hiding, watching over someone. Mortis knows immediately who that someone must be. Luke, his son, the child born from his love for Padme. Using the knowledge Palpatine taught him, Mortis had managed to save Padme during childbirth. The dark side techniques, the midi-chlorian manipulation, all of it worked. She survived, gave birth to twins, Luke and Leia. But when she learned what Mortis had become, what he'd done to save her, she was horrified. The cost was too high, she told him. Better to die pure than live stained by darkness. They argued bitterly until finally, broken-hearted but still loving him, she agreed to stay, to raise their children, to try to find some way to live with what he'd become. But she insisted the twins be hidden, kept away from the war, from the Empire, from the darkness their father represented. Mortis agreed, though it pained him. Leia was sent to Alderaan, to be raised by Bail Organa and his wife. Luke was supposed to go to a family on Naboo, but apparently Obi-Wan had other plans. Now, as Mortis lands his ship in the Tatooine desert, approaching the moisture farm where Obi-Wan has hidden Luke with the Lars family, he prepares for the confrontation that's been inevitable since the day he left the Jedi Temple. He finds Obi-Wan waiting for him near the Lars homestead, standing in the desert with his lightsaber ignited. The older man looks weathered, worn by grief and guilt. "Hello, Master. Anakin. You're still in there, aren't you? Somewhere, beneath all that darkness. Anakin is dead. Only Mortis remains. I don't believe that. I can't believe that. The boy I trained, the man who became my brother. He wouldn't just disappear, wouldn't just give up everything he believed in. Mortis draws his own lightsaber, but doesn't ignite it yet. Everything I believed in. You mean the lies the Jedi taught? The restrictions that kept me weak? The fear that prevented me from being what I truly am? I didn't give up anything, Obi-Wan. I finally became myself by murdering Jedi, by helping Palpatine establish a dictatorship, by using the very powers you swore to fight against. I saved Padme. She's alive because I had the strength to do what was necessary. And you call that a victory? Look at yourself. Your eyes are yellow. You reek of the dark side. Whatever you've become, it's not the Anakin I knew. Then maybe you never really knew me. The words hang in the desert air between them, heavy with years of history and brotherhood, now turned to ash. Obi-Wan's face crumples with grief, but he steadies himself. I can't let you take Luke. If you want him, you'll have to go through me. I don't want to fight you, Master. Then don't. Walk away. Leave this life behind. It's not too late. You could still come back. There is no coming back. This is the path I've chosen, and I don't regret it. Not for a moment. Then you leave me no choice. Their lightsabers ignite simultaneously, blue and green, flashing in the harsh Tatooine sunlight. And then they're moving. Two masters of lightsaber combat, their styles intimately familiar to each other after years of training together. But there's a crucial difference now. Mortis is no longer bound by Jedi restraint. He channels the dark side openly, augmenting his strength and speed beyond natural limits. His attacks come with terrifying force, each strike designed to kill rather than disarm. Obi-Wan fights defensively, using his perfect Form 3 technique to deflect and redirect. But even he can see that he's outmatched. Mortis is simply too powerful, too skilled, too utterly committed to victory. They battle across the desert, their dual carving lines in the sand, kicking up clouds of dust. Obi-Wan tries to reach Mortis verbally even as they fight, shouting reminders of their shared past, appealing to memories of Qui-Gon, of Padme, of the friendship they once had. But Mortis is unmoved. Finally, with a devastating combination of strikes, Mortis disarms Obi-Wan. Literally, his lightsaber slashes across Obi-Wan's arm, severing his hand at the wrist. The older Jedi cries out and falls to his knees, clutching the cauterized stump. Mortis stands over him, lightsaber raised for the killing blow. And then he hesitates. Some echo of their former bond, some fragment of Anakin still buried deep inside, stays his hand. Obi-Wan looks up at him, pain and sorrow etched on his face. Do it, if you're truly lost. If there's nothing left of the man I knew, then finish it. For a long moment, Mortis doesn't move. The desert wind howls around them, blowing sand across their faces. Then, slowly, he deactivates his lightsaber. I'm not going to kill you, Master. Not because you deserve mercy, but because I want you to see what I build. I want you to witness the peace I create. Run, hide, but know that the age of the Jedi is over. The age of the Empire, of true order, has begun. He turns his back on Obi-Wan and walks toward the Lars homestead, but he doesn't take Luke. Looking at the small moisture farm, at the humble life his son would have here, he makes a decision. Let him grow up here. Let him be free from the burden of the Force, at least for a while. When he's older, when the galaxy is at peace, then he can learn his true heritage. Then he can choose his own path. Mortis returns to his ship and leaves Tatooine behind. Behind him, Obi-Wan cradles his severed hand and watches the ship disappear into the sky, tears streaming down his face. The war ends within weeks. With the Separatist leadership dead and the droid armies shut down, resistance collapses. Palpatine declares himself Emperor, establishing the Galactic Empire with overwhelming support from a war-weary Senate. And Darth Mortis becomes the Emperor's enforcer, his right hand, the face of imperial power. But the empire that rises is not quite what anyone expected. Yes, it's authoritarian. Yes, Palpatine rules with absolute power. But there's also genuine reform. The corruption that plagued the Senate is purged ruthlessly. Crime syndicates are hunted to extinction. Slavery, the institution that defined Mortis's childhood, is abolished galaxy-wide and enforced with brutal efficiency. Entire cartels are wiped out overnight. The Hutts, who ruled the Outer Rim for generations, are systematically eliminated. Mortis takes particular satisfaction in this work, using his power to free millions who suffered as he once did. Infrastructure projects are initiated on worlds that the Republic neglected for centuries. Hospitals are built, schools established, food distribution networks created. And through it all, Mortis is the face of these reforms. Not Palpatine, whose elderly appearance and obviously dark presence make him unsuitable as a public figure, but Mortis, young, handsome, powerful, the hero of the Clone Wars now working to rebuild the galaxy. The propaganda is masterful. Hollywood footage shows Mortis visiting disaster sites, using the Force to help with rescue efforts, shows him confronting corrupt officials and bringing them to justice, shows him defending colonies from pirates and raiders. To the average citizen, especially those in the Outer Rim who suffered under Republic neglect, Mortis is not a villain. He's a savior. But there's a cost. Dissent is not tolerated. Those who speak out against the Empire disappear. Worlds that attempt to rebel are made examples of, their defiance crushed so thoroughly that others don't dare try. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of thought, all become luxuries that the Empire cannot afford to allow. And Mortis enforces these restrictions without hesitation or mercy. On Naboo, in a beautiful palace overlooking the lake country, Padme watches all of this unfold. She sees the good Mortis is doing, the genuine improvements in people's lives, but she also sees the cost, the executions, the fear, the way people whisper his name like a curse and a prayer in equal measure. Their relationship has become strained and complicated. She loves him still, the man he was and the echoes of that man that remain. But she's horrified by what he's become, by the methods he uses, by the empire he's helping to build. When he visits, which is less and less frequent as his duties multiply, they argue. "You've brought peace, Anakin," she says, refusing to call him by his Sith name. But at what cost? At the cost of everything we believed in? The cost of our souls? He looks at her, and there's pain in his eyes, but also certainty. I brought order, Padme. Real order. People are safe. They're fed. They're protected from the chaos that consumed the galaxy for decades. Yes, they've lost some freedoms, but what good is freedom if you're dead? What good is choice if you choose destruction? You've become a tyrant. I've become a guardian, the strongest guardian this galaxy has ever known. Our children will grow up in a galaxy without war, without slavery, without the corruption that plagued the Republic. Isn't that worth something? Not if it means ruling through fear. Not if it means becoming the very thing we fought against. You don't understand because you're not force-sensitive. You can't feel what I feel. The dark side isn't corruption, Padme. It's simply power, raw and unfiltered. And I've learned to master it, to use it without being consumed by it. The Jedi were wrong about so much. They were wrong about attachment, wrong about passion, wrong about the dark side itself. I'm proving that you can use all aspects of the Force without losing yourself. And our children, what will you teach them? Luke and Leia? Will you train them in your dark side powers? Make them into weapons like yourself? I'll teach them balance, real balance, not the Jedi's lie of denial. They'll learn to use both light and dark, choosing which to employ based on the situation. They'll be more powerful than any Jedi or Sith in history. They'll be the future of the galaxy, unless they reject it, unless they see what you've become and choose a different path. It's their choice, Padme. I'll never force them, but I will give them the knowledge and power to make that choice meaningfully. Unlike the Jedi, who kept me ignorant and restrained my whole life. She wants to argue more, to break through the wall he's built around his heart. But she can see it's futile. He's convinced himself that he's right, that his path is justified. And maybe, in some twisted way, he has a point. The galaxy is more stable than it's been in generations. Crime is at historic lows. Poverty is being systematically addressed. But it's all built on fear and the absolute power of one man, her husband, who has become more myth than man. Years pass. Luke and Leia grow, raised separately to protect them from the Imperial spotlight. Leia grows up on Alderaan, becoming a young senator, clever and passionate about justice. Luke remains on Tatooine until his teenage years, when Mortis finally brings him to Coruscant to begin his training. The reunion is awkward. Luke has heard stories about his father, the hero of the Clone Wars, turned dark enforcer of the Empire. He's both awed and terrified. But Mortis is patient with his son, teaching him about the Force with none of the restrictions the Jedi imposed. He shows Luke how to use anger without being consumed by it, how to channel passion into power, how to employ the dark side as a tool rather than a master. Slowly, Luke begins to understand his father's perspective. He sees the good the Empire does alongside its brutality. He learns that the Force is not black and white, light and dark, but a spectrum that can be navigated by those strong enough and wise enough to do so. And he grows powerful, astonishingly so, inheriting his father's natural talent. When Leia joins them a few years later, the family is finally together. Padme watches her children train with their father, watches them grow into formidable Force users, and she sees how they balance each other. Luke, has his father's power, but his mother's compassion. Leia has Padmé's political brilliance combined with Mortis's strategic mind. Together, under their father's guidance, they become something unprecedented. Neither Jedi nor Sith, but Force users who transcend both traditions. On a distant moon, Obi-Wan Kenobi watches through macro binoculars, his prosthetic hand steady. He sees the Empire's prosperity and its oppression in equal measure. He sees Anakin's children being molded into the next generation of dark side wielders, and he knows, with a certainty that chills him to his core, that the prophecy has been fulfilled, just not in the way anyone hoped. Anakin Skywalker brought balance to the Force. He destroyed the Sith, or at least he will eventually, when he inevitably surpasses and eliminates Palpatine. He broke the Jedi Order, scattering it to the winds, and in their place, he created something new. Something that uses both light and dark in equal measure. True balance. But balance is not always good. It is simply equilibrium. And in this equilibrium, freedom died so that order could reign. On Dagobah, Master Yoda meditates in his simple hut, surrounded by swamp and isolation. He's felt every death, every Jedi who fell during Order 66 and the subsequent purge. Felt the darkness rising in the galaxy, centered on the man who was supposed to be their savior. Failed, we did, he mutters to himself. Believed we did that balance meant victory for the light. But balance is not light or dark. Balance is harmony between them. And in that harmony, lost ourselves we have. Perhaps deserved this, we did, for our arrogance. But the ancient Jedi Master hasn't given up hope entirely. He watches Luke and Leia through the Force, senses the light still within them despite their training in darkness. Perhaps they will be the ones to truly balance the Force, not through domination like their father, but through understanding, through choice freely made. But that is a hope for a distant future. For now, the galaxy lives under the reign of Darth Mortis, the Dark Chosen One, a ruler who brought peace through power, order through fear, and stability through absolute control. In his throne room on Imperial Center, formerly Coruscant, Mortis stands before a massive viewport, looking out at the sprawling cityscape below. Behind him, Padmé sits quietly, her eyes distant with complicated emotions. Beside them, Luke and Leia practice advanced Force techniques, their lightsabers humming as they spar. Mortis watches his children and allows himself a moment of satisfaction. This is his legacy. This is what the Chosen One was meant to create. Not the death of the Sith or the survival of the Jedi, but the end of both. A new order built on strength and purpose. The galaxy will know peace as long as I live to enforce it, he thinks. And when I am gone, my children will continue what I started. The Force is finally in balance. And if that balance requires an iron fist to maintain, if it costs the galaxy its soul, then so be it. Better a galaxy united under one strong ruler than a galaxy torn apart by endless conflict. He places a hand on Luke's shoulder as his son completes a perfect combat sequence. Well done. You're mastering Form 7 faster than I did at your age. Soon, you'll be ready to help me govern, to help me maintain the order we've built. Luke looks up at his father with eyes that hold both admiration and uncertainty. Yes, Father, I'll be ready. Leia watches them both, her expression carefully neutral. And in her mind, questions begin to form. Questions about power and its proper use, about whether order maintained by fear is truly order at all, about whether there might be a better way, a third path between her father's iron rule and the Jedi's failed idealism. But she keeps these thoughts to herself, for now, because in the Empire, dissent is dangerous, even for the Emperor's daughter. Especially for the Emperor's daughter. The future is unwritten, 1,000 possibilities swirling in the currents of the Force. Some where the twins overthrow their father and restore freedom, some where they become even darker than he is, and some, just a few, where they find a way to truly balance power and compassion, strength and mercy, creating something better than either the Republic or the Empire. But those futures remain distant and uncertain. For now, the galaxy bows before Darth Mortis, the man who was Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one who chose darkness and called it balance. The prophecy has been fulfilled, just not in the way anyone hoped. And perhaps, in the end, that's the greatest tragedy of all. Not that the chosen one failed, but that he succeeded. He brought balance to the Force, united the galaxy, and ended the Clone Wars. It just cost everything the Jedi stood for, everything the Republic represented, and every principle of freedom the galaxy once held dear. This is peace. This is order. This is balance. And it's absolutely terrifying. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.